This is Matthew Weldon, Showman, and Amanda Fetter, and they are joining us today from New Orleans, from Jonathan Ferrara Gallery. And I am so excited to have you today join us. I think that I am so incredibly lucky that I was able to get you in my studio today to get all this incredible information that we're going to get from a point of view of a gallery and how we as artists, how that relationship really works. And so tell us a little bit about who you guys are, where you are, and what type of gallery are you?
For sure. So, as Sandra said, I'm Matthew Weldon Showman. I'm the director and partner here at Jonathan Ferrara Gallery in New Orleans.
I'm Amanda Fetter. I am the gallery manager here.
And so my role at the gallery is really a lot of the sales, the curatorial work, working directly with the artists to schedule exhibitions, and so on and so forth with the program.
And I do the brunt of the administration work, onboarding artists, uploading to our online platforms and our online sales platforms. And I also run the social media and during normal times manage gallery interns who helps with the social media as well.
So now that you mentioned normal times, tell me a little bit how COVID has affected your gallery and how it's affected your work.
Sure. From the business standpoint, and I'm sure many people tuning in have been to Home Depot or Lowe's, you'll notice that they're very busy. Home improvement is something very much of the time. We're stuck in our homes, we're looking around, and many of my clients are writing me, hey, that space that I've always wanted to fill, let's talk about it. And it's really given me an opportunity to have intimate conversations with them with no rush of their normal day-to-day schedules, but also I'm not burdened by all of the day-to-day at the gallery. So it's actually been quite busy, I'll say.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really great. I think that with all this time, like you said, everyone is looking around to see how they can make their places happier, prettier, feeling better, and what better than to add artwork in their homes.
For sure. And during this time too, with the physical space being closed and Amanda and I really trying to rack our brains of how can we stay with our momentum and stay relevant in this time, Amanda and I came up with this really great program for social media, which Amanda really handles, and she can tell you more about that.
Yeah, that's the JFG TV series that we've been doing. Every week we have one of our artists who we represent. Yeah. We give them full control of our social media handles for a 3-day period. It's Thursday through Saturday, and they have full control to really self-promote and show their personalities. I really wanted to be able to take this time to connect people with the artist and who they are, because when you walk into a gallery, you see the piece of art, but you don't necessarily get to look into what the process of creating it was, what the artist was inspired by, what music they were listening to, which, family members they were thinking about, or which social justice movement they're inspired by. So I really thought that now would be a good time to connect people on a personal level with the artists.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing that too. I feel like I'm the connector right now of artists with artists, artists with galleries, artists with interior designers, just a little bit of everything. But tell us a little bit about your background, Matthew. I feel like it's actually fascinating on how young you are and to be a director of a gallery, of a well-established gallery. And I actually came to know about you from my really good friend, Amy Farnett-Siegel. She's probably watching. We love her, and I know you represent her. And so I just totally approached you and said, hey, would you join me? So it's pretty interesting because I think that you're very young to be a director of a gallery. So can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I matriculated into the Museum Studies program at Carnegie Mellon University and the History of Art and Architecture program at the University of Pittsburgh, because neither university had both programs, but they had the ability to do a joint degree. So that was my studies, and I spent 3 years really in Pittsburgh. I worked at the Andy Warhol Museum the entire time. And so I come from a museum background, not a gallery background. And I also then continued my studies in Europe. I spent 2 years between Paris, Nantes in France, and London, where I continued working at museums. And when I returned to the United States, I had had all of these experiences where I'd been working with artists in the museum setting that had gallery representation. And so I worked a lot with the galleries as well. And I just wanted to know more about what that was like, because I really hadn't discussed much of the gallery side of things in my education, or really got to know the workings of the gallery through my times at the museum. So I wanted to move to New Orleans. It was just a city I was very interested in. It has a really vibrant art scene, so many local artists working. I mean, culinary arts, music arts, but visual arts is also something that is really prevalent. And I was immediately offered a job with Jonathan, thought I would spend a year here as his gallery assistant, and then return to the museum world and curatorial work, which is what my background is. And I just quickly really fell in love, got really entrenched in everything I was doing, working directly with the artists on a day-to-day basis, whereas the museum, you know, you organize an exhibition for a month really heavily with the artist, and then it stays on view for several months. So this was my opportunity to do more work directly with the artist in shorter exhibition times, but it kept this higher, faster pace going. And so after a few years, I was promoted at the gallery to curatorial assistant, where I really took on a bulk of changing the program, growing the program of artists that we represent, and that was really exciting for me. And then eventually when the director left, I was 24 at the time, I became director of the gallery.
That's an on take by itself. I mean, that's a lot of work. And like I was talking to you earlier, and there's only the two of you, that you have all the hats that you can wear possibly. I know that you guys work together. Amanda, can you tell us a little bit about what, you know, being a manager in a gallery is? And do we as artists then, when we decide that we want to approach you, do we then email you, and then you would give that image or email to Matthew? How is that? How do you guys work?
Yeah, so our team, I think one of the reasons why I really enjoyed working here and tried so hard to get hired because I started off as an intern and then gallery assistant, and now I'm the manager. But I really love how collaborative it is here. So if someone emails me, an artist, their portfolio and CV, and I look over it, and you know, if I'm particularly interested in this artist, I'll send it to Matthew, and we'll bounce things off each other. We'll talk about what we like about it. We'll go to the artist's website and we'll look at, you know, their whole entire portfolio, and really it's the other way around too. If Matthew finds someone, he'll send it to me and be like, you know, give me your thoughts. And so that's why that's something that I really enjoy, is that, you know, all of the things that we do for the gallery, it's not strictly regimented. They're very collaborative. We both are in here installing art, taking art down.
Yeah, it really sort of dispels that old adage that people that work in galleries just come in and turn the lights on and that's it. We are moving the artwork around. We're taking it to clients. We're literally installing it here. We're working directly with the artist, but we're also selling it to our clients. We're doing all of the website and the social media, really mostly Amanda.
So how are you helping your current artists that you have right now? What are you doing to help them to stay current and to stay, you know, in front of people's, you know, screens right now, because they can't come see you physically? Right. So what are you doing to like help them?
So first and foremostly, we are, as I mentioned, continuing to sell work. So that is sort of continuing our normal mission, which is to put money in our artists' pockets so that they can, you know, survive off of their career and not hopefully have to have second jobs, and also be able to continue creating, because art materials are very expensive. So, you know, that's first and foremostly. But the JFG TV, of course, is another way, keeping our artists active on our social medias, as well as we're continuing our exhibition programs in a virtual sense of these online exclusives on, for example, artsy.net, and on our website as well. We're continuing on with our exhibitions because we are scheduled so strictly for at least 2 years in advance. It's very difficult for this time to be able to postpone and move things around. And then finally, we're constantly scouring the internet for grants, awards, different things that are offering relief or some sort of compensation to artists who are not able to work right now, being self-employed, but maybe not necessarily having an LLC or something. Artists can't take unemployment.
Right.
So
right.
we're just constantly trying to find different things to present opportunities to our artists to make some money during this.
And so how do you find new artists? Just looking around, or from people reaching out to you, or both ways?
Yeah, so the primary way that we form relationships with new artists is through our annual call for artists, which is called No Dead Artists. It's open to living artists, as the title suggests, and it's an international call. So we started off as just a New Orleans call for artists, I think in 1995. So this call has been around for a really long time. And then shortly after that, it became a call for all Louisiana artists. And then it expanded nationally. And then I think we went international in 2014. And that's how we have some artists from Nigeria, and have had artists from Germany in the show. So it's really, really cool way to kind of bring artists.
And you do this once a year, and you have it open right now, correct?
Once a year.
So as an artist who is struggling right now with money, or, you know, anything, there is a fee for me to enter. And is there a fee for every picture every image that I send your way, or how does it work?
So it's a $35 application fee, and that covers your entire application, which is 5 images or 5 different works of art. You can add details to each of those images, but it's just one flat fee for that application. And being that the call has been open since last summer, I believe we opened it around August, I've had a lot of artists ask, are you able to waive this fee? And whenever the artists reach out, I explain, unlike a nonprofit institution, which has private funders who are, you know, independently wealthy and still in most cases able to be funding them, they're able to get grants and such to fund these exhibitions. Whereas for us, you know, there's not just a cost to use the application process like platform, which in our case is Entry Thingy, which charges per entry, but there's also a cost to hosting the exhibition for a month at the gallery and all of the press materials and advertising. And whenever it's done with artists that we don't already represent, you know, this fee is sort of unavoidable for us. And so when an artist says, I don't have the money, I do send them that same packet of grants and fellowships and such that they can apply for, which much of them are meant to be resources for artists for professional expenses, of which this would be considered.
Right, and which I think it's so important that you are trying to help and do your, you know, your part as well. Yeah. Because I think sometimes, I will talk about my experience as an artist. It's been sometimes very hard to approach galleries because it's a snobbish world sometimes, and you are not validated enough as an artist, or they see you like a pawn in their game, and how they can utilize you better and how much money they can get from your art versus seeing you as a human being and really acknowledging that you have an incredible body of work to represent. So I have been burned sometimes from galleries, unfortunately. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to do like you guys. I'm going to put all my hats together and I'm going to try and sell my stuff, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, because I got really, disappointed, I guess, on how the gallery world can be. Then I spoke to you guys, and I love your approach. And can you tell us a little bit about how you guys are maybe different than other galleries, or how you take care of your artists and how you are, really involved in how they're doing and how, how is their work coming along, and, being a little more involved in their life versus just using them as a business, which I know we're all in a business, but sometimes we forget that we're human beings, and we don't treat ourselves with that respect that we should.
Yeah, unfortunately, your story is a common one, and I've heard it many times. And coming from the museum side of things, again, I feel like I was very aware of this reputation of galleries, so I've always done everything possible to counteract that sort of ability to slip into that sort of behavior. Being a business, business sometimes can be very stressful and people get caught up in it, but at least during the time of COVID, I have a phone call with one artist 5 days a week. I just call them to check in. We talk about nothing, but it usually ends up talking about a lot of things, and we come up with these great ideas. So they've been really productive and fruitful. So, and many of our artists too inevitably become our friends. So I feel like, having that sort of personal relationship as well makes it more difficult to have those sorts of negative experiences, which, like you explained, but yeah, I think.
Also, I just think that you have to understand your artist. You have to work to know what they're trying to say with their art. You have to take the time to sit down with them, go through their exhibition statement, and talk about it so that we know how to sell it. Because if someone hands me a piece of art, it's so much easier to sell it to a client, and if I know who the artist is and what they're inspired by. So,
you are really representing them in that case. Yes. And I think that, that artists that are listening right now should know that galleries have a very important place in this world. And we don't need to be at the highest of the highest, because maybe that's not a good fit for you. It needs to be a good fit both for the gallery and for the person. And the person needs to feel, like you just said, that you know me, that you not only know my work, but you know me, because when you're selling me, you want to make sure that you sell me as high as you can, and so that is very refreshing to hear. And coming from a very well-respected gallery with many years, like yours. So it's refreshing. Now, tell me something, as an artist, how do we, let's say we've never approached a gallery and we're ready to do that. What is our best bet? Is it going through Instagram and, direct messaging you, or, Facebook, or directly through your gallery page and emailing you? What is the best way? Take us a step by step.
Sure. So, from my perspective, I don't look at social media personally or professionally really for the galleries. So I do recommend either stopping in the gallery and maybe just having a chat during sort of gallery hours with one of the staff members, or sending an email. sharing your work, but also specifically asking, what is your process for considering new artists? Don't just bring your artwork to the gallery and try to do a portfolio review like unscheduled and undiscussed, just cold calling. Also, I think each gallery has a very specific sort of aesthetic, or they have a point of view, and you want to make sure that when you're approaching a gallery, you understand what that message is and how you fit in, and maybe explain that. That would show to the gallery that you've thought about how you fit in or fill a void in their program, and you know that you're going to be amongst peers which you're not redundant with, but you can add to a conversation, because those are really the clients that are purchasing the work from that gallery are looking for that point of view. And if you're just completely different, then maybe that's not the right fit. And certainly galleries are always, some artists can't really fit into one particular mold. Galleries are always trying new things and finding artists that are very innovative. So of course, take that into mind as well. But I just recommend showing the respect to the gallery staff for not only their time and their workflow, but to engage with them about what they're doing and asking, how can I have a conversation? And everybody will do it differently. In our case, we do mostly recommend our call for artists, which we sit down for a few weeks in the summer and go through each application ourselves as well as the jury. And that is how we carve out the time to sort of sift through the innumerable inquiries that we receive from artists on literally a daily basis.
Yeah, we do get a ton of people in the Instagram DMs, and I just recommend you all go through email, because I typically run the social media accounts, or I manage an intern who does the social media accounts. And so when we get DMs, we get so many of them, it's just inundated, and it just takes way too much time to go through each and every one of them. We're much more responsive via email, just because, you know, maybe the DM was sent when our intern was in charge of the Instagram, and it's just a much more, I think, professional way to contact a gallery. I know that everything is like turning to social media now, and it is a great platform to kind of connect with our content, but not necessarily with us personally.
Right.
No, I think it's fantastic. It's great, you know, information for artists that don't know how to approach and how to get to you guys and create that communication. And like you said, Matthew, before that, you know, you and I were talking, there are times where, you know, it's not a good time to approach. You know, and we hope that there's those times coming up again when we have gallery openings and we have, you know, solo shows or group shows that we can all be in one space. Like you were saying, that's not a right time to come up to you guys and say, hey, my art, look at my art, you know.
Yeah, it's always just good to just say, you know, I'm very interested in your program and I'd love to have a conversation or show you my work. I will never dissuade an artist to just send me an email with images of their work, because that is the way that I am doing my research, or I consume art mostly, especially now, through a computer screen. So that's the sort of entree into a proper conversation about exhibitions, representation, so on and so forth. And if it's not a right fit for me, I'm very known to recommend to other galleries, whether I tell the artist to approach that gallery or I share it with my many colleagues at galleries across the world.
This is so great information. I'm telling you, everyone is going to love just knowing that there is a chance, and there are galleries that are, you know, just nice and like you guys. And I would love for you to start now talking about the artists that you have currently in the gallery, and maybe take us on a little tour so we can see, you know, the current work that you have. So what is behind you that is so interesting?
So this is a really good example of what we're really interested in and our point of view, as I was discussing earlier for our gallery. This is Bonnie Maygarden. she has a proprietary painting process where she is using atomized paint and spraying canvas or different types of materials. These three are pleather, actually. Nylon. Every different sort of material and the way it billows reacts differently to her process. So she sort of creates a topography of unstretched material, applies the paint from different angles to create sort of light and shadow. And once it's stretched, it really, and it's probably hard to see in on a phone or by a camera, but it really looks almost three-dimensional. It's very
I thought it was three-dimensional, so it's not.
Completely flat.
Yeah, and I'll have people sort of, you know, you're not supposed to touch artwork in a gallery, but these really just beg you. I see people all the time, like, looking at it from different angles and just try it, like they want to touch so bad, because it's really, it fools your eye.
It is fascinating, I have to say. I would love for you, is there any way that you can take your phone off the tripod and get us closer so we can see that? Because it's kind of fascinating to see that.
All right. So I'm going to turn the camera around so that we
That'd be great.
Okay. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
But it's completely
flat. Wow. That is incredible.
This one kind of has like a reflective quality.
I can see that. So it's black on black?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so as I was saying, this is a really great example because we are very interested in artists with innovative processes. We are interested in how are you sort of making painting more interesting? How are you updating photography?
I'm sorry that I'm interrupting. I'm going to turn off the comments because we want to make sure that we're able to see the artwork and not the comments. Sorry. I'll turn them on at the end.
So I'm really interested, as I was saying, in how are you innovating your process, technique? Are you using some sort of interesting material? Are you referencing some sort of historic way of painting? Something that's just a little bit more than traditional painting, photography, sculpture, etc. And with that, follow suit always a really interesting story. So what is the purpose? In this case, with Bonnie, she is a painter trained in hyper-realistic painting, and she questioned what is the place of painting today, which is a very common narrative. In her case, she's creating more digital-looking images that look like they could almost be photography, to reference this repetition. For example, when you're scrolling through Instagram, how you consume these images so quickly, you don't look at anything really for an extended period of time. You're just kind of scrolling through quickly, and it all just sort of becomes monotonous and a blur. And I would recommend you visit our artist pages on our website, Jonathan.
And I will make sure that I'm going to get the artists that you have currently, and I'm going to put that information as well for you guys, so you can look them up as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so let's keep moving.
Sure. So if we want to talk about Paul, another example of an artist that we've worked with for quite a long time is Paul Valinsky. He's really well known for taking found materials, usually recycled aluminum cans, or in this case, vinyl records, and he creates these really elaborate installations of birds for the records, and
cool.
for the aluminum cans, butterflies, which maybe we can take a look in our office a little bit later. And he's cutting these and then sort of heating them up on a hot plate to form them into the shape of the bird.
Wow.
Yeah,
they look amazing, and the way you have them displayed, even the shadow makes an artwork,
which is so important to the work.
Oh, so important. But like it wouldn't be the same without the shadow, that is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is also really great because his work is usually site specific, so it's really nice for a client to see these and then sort of imagine them in a space that is tailor-made for their home. And it's you know, it's three-dimensional and it can go on sort of unique spaces, curved walls, etc. So it's really fun from a interior design perspective as well.
For sure, for sure. Let's keep
So,
going.
Nice.
Amanda's going to talk about this work here.
This is by artist Esperanza Cortez. We just actually had an exhibition with her not too long ago. But this is part of a series called Las Mineras. And she's inspired by mining industry in Latin America. So she uses a lot of, you know, little like gems and little trinkets in her works. And it's always a female image. She talks about how
Very powerful.
Yeah, she really loves highlighting women and how women are usually, you know, the first kind of victims of colonialism and war and such. So these are, she always uses like little gems.
So they complement each other, those two works.
Yes.
Yeah.
They really do go together, those two works.
So
It almost looks, is that like a mother and child?
this,
No,
oh,
that
no,
one.
this is just a female face, and then that's a heart.
Oh, it's a heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was hard to see. All right. We can keep moving.
So I'll briefly take you out to the main gallery. If the echo gets bad, let me know. But
Okay.
so 2 days before the stay-at-home order was dropped, I opened an exhibition which I have been working on for several years now. I curated it. It's called Art and Doom, and it's sort of timed with the museum exhibition, event rather, Art in Blue, which in most museums nationwide that do it, they have florists create flower arrangements.
Yeah, we have that here too, everywhere. Yeah.
You're familiar. And in my opinion, it sort of takes the focus off of the artwork itself, but it's also just such a, I think, cliche and expected conversation to talk about flowers in springtime and just given, you know, the current political, socioeconomic, you know, just climate that we live in. And this was not, obviously I planned this well before COVID happened, but I'm gonna throw that into this conversation as well. I wanted to talk about things that are maybe, you know, unsavory to discuss. So there's 5 artists in the show. It's Tiffany Calvert from Louisville, Kentucky, Beth Carter from the UK, Peter Olson, who's in Philadelphia, Nora C., who's a local artist, and William Woodward, based outside of Washington, D.C.
So, Amanda, can we see them a little closer?
Yes.
So we'll walk through a little bit. This is Tiffany Calvert. Her work is scans or photographs of Dutch Old Master paintings. Again, we're looking back at a conversation like Bonnie Mae Gardens, sort of questioning where does painting belong today and how do we talk about it in a contemporary narrative and with the invention of photography. So she
also plays with light and dark, like the masters did, you know.
Exactly. So this is a Dutch Old Master still life floral piece that she's gone in and begun to manipulate and interrupt with her own painting. And just actually the day that we opened the exhibition, that Saturday, she got a really great write-up in Hyperallergic about a series of these paintings that she has on view at the Speed Museum. May still be on view, I'm not sure about that. So next we have William Woodward. He is a classically trained painter from the Accademia in Italy, so you can see this just very masterful use of painting, which is a really great contradiction, I think, to Tiffany's work, who's sort of questioning, like, where does this belong now? And I'm really excited to be able to have both of them in a show where they can exist symbiotically and sort of have that conversation with one another, because this sort of painting is often, let's say, in the snobbish realms of contemporary art galleries, often looked down upon.
Interesting. It has a lot of storytelling in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
His work is always very narrative. In this case, these are, I have 2 of them in the show, but he painted all 7 of the 7 deadly sins. We have avarice here, and on the other side of the gallery, we have pride. We'll take a closer look at that maybe in a minute. But these bronzes that you see throughout the space, those are Beth Carter's, again from the UK, and she is using this very masterful handiwork of bronze.
Let's see the scale if you stand next to it, Matthew, because I think we're losing the scale of what that looks
okay.
like.
Sure. So
This is on a pedestal.
this guy's a little bit smaller.
Okay, now we get it. Okay.
Go
But
by
we
go.
can take a look at this Minotaur piece over here, which really kind of confounds you when you first walk into the gallery. It's a very abrupt and I think exciting way to enter the exhibition.
Yeah, it's daunting a little bit.
And so again, with these 5 artists, I was really interested in spreading them around and allowing them to create these conversations with one another versus...
It almost looks like they're guarding your paintings.
Yeah, right? Rather than sort of putting them in their own individual bubbles. One of our interests, and that's what's really great about our program, is that you're able to intermix our artists' work, and it sometimes enhances the purpose, the message that their works are trying to make. So I'm really interested in finding those parallels or those contradictions and allowing the artists to work together. So that in turn helps me develop a client where the client might have originally, approached me or just purchased an artwork by one artist, but then they're opened up to the rest of our program and they see these intended and sometimes unintended parallels where they're able to grow their collection through works.
Can we talk about the painting that you have on your right, I believe it is, or left? Yeah, that one. That one.
So
that one?
The other
No,
one.
Amanda, the other one. That one. Yep.
Okay.
So this is a Tiffany Calvert as well, and this one is a little bit more interrupted. She's actually pixelated the Dutch old master that she's using as a reference. So you can see she's taken an image of it and then sort of let it become more glitched.
And does she paint on top of that, Matthew?
And then he goes in and also interrupts that with her own painting. So you do see her hand. There's some really great impasto on some of them that gives a lot of texture to the canvas. So it's really this hybrid of photography, printmaking, and painting. And
so is that on what? Is that on canvas or?
Yeah.
It is on canvas.
Yep.
Okay.
She prints the photo on canvas, whether it's just a photo itself of the original piece or one that she's digitally manipulated, and then she goes over it with paint.
What kind of paint does she use? Do you know?
Acrylic.
Acrylic?
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
So I think I have this wall over here where you can really see the breadth of her series of these glitch paintings, where you start with one that's sort of more filled out, more the original still life, and then as you go, it becomes...
He deconstructs it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very, it keeps my interest in there. Like, I want to see more. I want to come in and see it closer. I want to, go back and see what it looks like. It's just, it really keeps your eye moving from all over the place, which is, as an artist, you always are striving for something like this. So this is very fascinating. It also looks like three-dimensional because of the image board that she has, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And so Peter Olson is the ceramicist in the show. He is trained in photography, but he had always thrown pots and such, and he found a way to marry the two. So when he he applies a photographic film to the clay before he bakes it, and it actually impregnates the clay with the image, and this is the result. So he creates these repetition images. In most of these cases, they're sort of vanitas vases, a lot of skulls and skeletons and memento mori, as well as religious ideology such as Adam and Eve and gods of various other religions, and he's really just playing with these images that I thought worked really nicely in the exhibition.
So maybe let's talk one more artist, and then I'll turn on the comments to see if anyone has more questions. So you choose whomever you want to feature next.
And then, so the final artist that is in this show is Nora C. And her work, one of the pieces is sort of about the United States and how our current president has sort of created a reality TV show of our government. But behind me, I have two pieces which speak specifically about abortion. On the right, it's called Alabama Goddamn, and it is created to sort of question this doctrine in Alabama, making it illegal, or more difficult rather, to get an abortion. And on the left is sort of this idealized white older male politician inside of a uterus, and him sort of creating the decisions based on this female body part. And so that sort of rounds out this exhibition, which I've curated.
Yeah, that is, well, I can't thank you enough, you guys, both of you, for showing your beautiful space, for showing us everything that, you know, that you have. And I'm excited to keep our conversation going. And I'm very hopeful that you guys can open very quickly here. And we need you. We need, you know, we need art openings. We need each other more now than ever. I think that, you know, working together as artists and galleries, and being honest with the process and with each other and treating us with respect, we can only move forward in a better, richer, more effective way for everyone involved. And if you have any questions, viewers, this is the time. Otherwise, you know, thank you guys so much. Thank you for informing us what is the process of moving forward as an artist with you as a gallery. And I'm sure if I get more questions, I will send them your way. And I will make sure that both Matthew and Amanda and myself will name all the artists that we were talking about today in your gallery. And thank you for supporting the artists and keeping current with the situation. And I just wish you but the best of luck.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks.
Of course. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.